Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
A young woman holding a 6-week-old baby was behind this door last night on Detroit's west side when someone standing right here opened fire.
Plus, we are tracking scattered rain and snow showers, as well as some serious wind, how much you can expect and when it will all impact us here in Metro Detroit. Impeachment hearings against President Trump begin in the House Judiciary Committee, with scholars testifying.
Based on the evidentiary record before you, what has happened in the case today is something that I do not think we have ever seen before. A president who has doubled down on violating his oath to faithfully execute the laws and to protect and defend the Constitution.
The question ahead of the committee is not whether to impeach President Trump, but what charges? Abuse of power, obstruction, both? We'll take you inside the hearing. And good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of Local 4 News at noon right here on clickondetroit.com. The hearings began with Democrats making their case that President Trump deserves impeachment. And it's all happening with the president out of the country right now, watching from London, where he's attending the NATO summit. Let's get to Susan McGinnis with more.
The House Committee on the Judiciary will come to order.
The House Judiciary Committee taking the reins of the impeachment inquiry, laying the constitutional groundwork for impeaching President Trump.
President Trump did not merely seek to benefit from foreign interference in our elections. He directly and explicitly invited foreign interference in our elections.
In the committee's first public hearing, constitutional scholars explain high crimes and misdemeanors and whether the president's actions rise to that benchmark.
On the basis of the testimony and the evidence before the House, President Trump has committed impeachable high crimes and misdemeanors by corruptly abusing the office of the presidency.
Today's focus, this report. The House Intelligence Committee concluding the president abused the power of his office to solicit a foreign power to help him in 2020, asking Ukraine to publicly announce investigations into former Vice President Joe Biden and 2016 election interference, all while withholding military aid to Ukraine. The report also says the president obstructed congressional investigation of his actions. Republicans continue to argue the president has done nothing wrong.
Because you just don't like the guy. You haven't liked him since November of 2016.
But Democrats alleging a scheme, including officials at the highest levels of government, including the vice president and secretary of state. And the intel report names the president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, hundreds of times, showing he played a role in pressuring Ukraine. Overseas at the NATO summit, the president asked about Giuliani's calls.
They're after him only because he's done such a good job. He was very effective against Mueller and the Mueller hoax.
The president insisting Americans won't be watching the hearings. Should the committee conclude the president's actions constitute high crimes and misdemeanors, it would draw up articles of impeachment to be voted on by the House. In Washington, Susan McGinnis, NBC News.
Susan, thank you. And we want to turn our attention now to what's happening outside and on the radar. It's a cloudy one. We've also seen some scattered rain and snow showers. And let's get to Brandon Rue, who's tracking that for live radar that can further explain what's happening outside. Brandon, over to you.
All right, Rhonda, thanks very much. We've got a look at temperatures first and foremost, with mainly middle 30s outside your door. 34 Pontiac, 36 Mount Clemens, 37 over at Ann Arbor. Same with City Airport. We do have a couple of areas flirting with 40, but the winds are picking up and it's mainly wind chills in the 20s. Forecast calls for these middle 30s, mostly cloudy skies, an occasional spotty snow shower or two. Could mix in a little bit of drizzle, but we're seeing mainly the light snow showers here and there. We've had a few coming through parts of our north zone and over into southern Ontario now, but the rest of us are seeing just cloudy skies. As we look at the wide view, we will see a little bit more activity coming at us from the northwest, and the winds, again, picking up. We'll take a closer look at the entire forecast, your 7-day, coming up.
All right, sounds good, Brandon. Thank you. New information in the shooting of a 23-year-old mother and her baby. This happened last night on Detroit's West Side. This is video from a very active scene there last night. In this map of the location, it's the 16,800 block of Freeland. This is right near McNichols, as you can see there on the map between McNichols and Puritan. Sean Lay joins us now with a look at the search for the shooter.
Here is the very latest at this noon hour. The 23-year-old who was shot multiple times remains in the hospital right now. So does that 6-week-old little baby that she had in her arms. Now, we're also seeing on social media that family members are saying both the woman and the baby should pull through.
A suspect went up to this location, knocked on the door. The door was answered by a black female holding a 6-week-old baby. Multiple shots were fired. Both were struck.
7:10 last night here at this home on Freeland, just south of McNichols on Detroit's West Side. You heard the police captain. There was a knock at the door. A 23-year-old woman holding a 6-week-old baby girl comes to the door. Sources tell Local 4 at this noon hour a man was at the door with what sources are describing as an assault-style weapon held down at his leg. Then he raises the gun and opens fire through the door and then fires multiple shots through the front window. The woman is hit multiple times. That infant grazed in her knee.
The female is in critical condition right now. The child is in temp serious, has been transported to area children's hospital.
Also reading on social media at this noon hour, family members are saying that the 23-year-old did not come to the door actually holding the baby, but the shots started flying through the door and the window, and she scooped up the baby to get that baby out of harm's way. Much more as we continue to talk to sources and find out exactly what happened here. On Detroit's West Side, Sean Lay, Local 4.
Sean, thank you. School officials in Hamtramck are warning parents about a stranger danger incident. It happened here yesterday at West Dickinson Elementary School in Hamtramck. We're told a woman approached 2 students claiming to be their neighbor, but the kids didn't know. They didn't know her, and they ran away. We were told that the police have been called about the incident. And a man is in court to be sentenced after a harrowing attack in Taylor. James Ferris pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including carjacking and kidnapping. He's accused of waiting for a woman outside of her job, pulling a gun on her, and making her withdraw money from 2 ATMs. Prosecutors say that he then strangled her with a cord and left her in the street as he drove off with her car. We have the visitation and funeral information now for Detroit police officer Rasheen McClain. The officer was killed in the line of duty last month. Visitation is scheduled for today and tomorrow. Those visitations are from 3 in the afternoon until 8 p.m. at the Fisher Funeral Home in Redford. That's on 5 Mile near Telegraph. McClain's funeral is Friday at 11 a.m. at Greater Grace Temple on Detroit's West Side. UAW and Fiat Chrysler officials are meeting right now at the GM Renaissance Center. We're told that the meeting is to talk about the proposed tentative agreement made between the 2 sides. Once they go over all of the details, they're supposed to vote on if they'll send the agreement to the rank and file UAW members for ratification. We are also expecting to hear from union officials on the meeting, and once we do, we will let you know, both here on the air and on clickondetroit.com. Meanwhile, former UAW President Joe Ashton is expected in court today to plead guilty to charges stemming from the union's corruption scandal. Ashton is accused of organizing a kickback scheme with 2 co-workers who have pleaded guilty already. And Kid Rock's bar and restaurant that's inside of Little Caesars Arena here in downtown Detroit is going to be closing its doors. We're told that Kid Rock has decided not to renew his lease for the space inside of LCA. This comes after Kid Rock was also pulled off stage earlier this week after a drunken rant where he called out Oprah Winfrey. This happened in Nashville, Tennessee. On Facebook, Kid Rock thanked fans and people who went to his restaurant. He also says that in the post, he guesses the millions of dollars he's invested in Detroit is not enough. Let's turn our attention to Brandon.
Yes.
Talk about our forecast around here for this Wednesday.
Right, and we have a stretch of very similar weathers, what we've been experiencing, but we've got a couple of waves in the 7-day as well, almost like a roller coaster ride. We have a lot of these middle 30s out there, from Howell in our west zone at 35 to Lapeer at 34, but a couple of areas 38, 39 degrees. I don't expect that to last. The winds have kind of shifted, now becoming more westerly to west-northwest. That's the direction they're coming from, anywhere between 10 and 20 miles an hour. And we're getting an occasional gust to 25. Now, this is not a violent situation, really anything to worry about, but it does create a little bit of a wind chill that knocks air temps down a good 10, 15 degrees. So we're mainly in the 20s. Forecast high for the rest of the day. We're pretty much looking at it, and those breezes are starting to crank. We will get an occasional spotty snow shower or two. Through the overnight, I expect some clearing, and temperatures will dip down into the 20s. We were in the 30s all morning, but with any clearing, it becomes a little bit cooler. We've seen some north zone snow showers now into southern Ontario, but big picture, what do we have? Just that west-northwest flow creating some more spotty snow showers through the mid-afternoon hours today. You see here on the model, it does call especially areas north of M59, which is our north zone, but not exclusively. Not doing anything more than a little dusting here or there. That's about it. Now, there you see a little clearing through the early part of the day. Tomorrow, clouds do fill in, and then anybody out on the roads Thursday night, early Friday, will see some spotty snow there as well. And then most of your Friday looks to be on the drier side, with Saturday following suit. And it looks like Sunday will be a warmish day with middle upper 40s, maybe flirting with 40 to end the weekend. Late Sunday, we've got some rain showers that'll linger into Monday. So that's the warm stretch there. And then a stark, brisk change coming by Tuesday, Wednesday. Probably get some accumulating snow on Tuesday. Not much, maybe an inch to 2. And then chilly stuff returns middle of next week.
I think after that major taste of winter in November, if snow comes back in the forecast now, we're like, bring it. We can handle it. It's December now. Now it's supposed to happen, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Brandon. The George H.W. Bush Library is welcoming a new monument to its exhibits.
Yeah, that new monument is a life-size bronze statue of the president's former service dog, Sully.
Yes, the statue was unveiled with Sully himself there to see it at the library in College Station, Texas. Sully made a name for himself, and not just because he's cute, but because of the love and support that he gave the former president as his service dog. The sculptor who created the statue says creating the piece was an honor. An honor indeed. Well, thanks for being with us for this special edition of Local 4 News here at clickondetroit.com. You can always find the latest news right here, and you can also join us back here later today, depending on how the impeachment hearings go, on Local 4 News at 4, 5, 6, and of course, Brandon and I will be right back here early tomorrow morning, 4:30.
Ready to go.
Have a good day, everybody.